You know, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people like to make comments online and they say, well, gaming journalists should be banned. Gaming journalists should not be allowed to talk, whatever, right? I don't agree with this. And the reason why is because it is very easy to allow them to bury themselves and continue to bury themselves because you don't actually have to ban them. I'm always for letting people speak out regardless of whatever their belief is, because when you have psychopaths like this, who's the managing editor over at Kotaku, who we have spoken about before, Carolyn Petit, aka Dude Petit. When Dude Petit likes to make certain things very publicly known, they end up burying themselves and continue to showcase to the entire world why Kotaku is eventually going to shut down.
Come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
Has anyone...
So we have an article here from That Park Place with a headline that reads, Kotaku managing editor goes on deranged rant and accusing Mark Kern of maintaining and reinforcing. Okay, this is going to be rough. Maintaining and reinforcing the heteronormative, cisnormative, white supremacist, patriarchal status quo. Oh my, ladies and gentlemen, this person is a pure and utter psychopath. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So obviously, we're talking about Dude Petit, okay? Dude Petit is one of those people who are part of my conspiracy theory. And what are you asking my conspiracy theory is? For those of you who might be new, well, my conspiracy theory is that there are some people that are in the mainstream gaming industry. All of them are white men, by the way. And some of them have decided that their careers are more important than their values. So they saw the writing on the wall. They saw all the white men starting to get fired for DEI. And they decided that the only way to save themselves and to save their 10 to 20 years career is to trans themselves. And I truly believe that Carolyn Petit is one of these people, because if you notice, they almost always look the same in the sense that they never go full on. They never, ever go full on with the actual decision to trans themselves. All they do is they wear female clothing and they put on a wig and they say they are women. That is it. And they are doing it for as long as they have to, until eventually they can go back to being men without the fear of getting fired and losing their entire career. So it says, Kotaku managing editor, a man who claims to be a woman and uses the name Carolyn Petit, went on an unhinged and deranged rant against Mark Kern, aka Grums, accusing him of maintaining and reinforcing the heteronormative, cisnormative, white supremacist, patriarchal status quo. If anybody uses this, I mean, look at this. Look at all of these labels and titles. If anybody uses all of this in one sentence, just fully understand that they are complete and utter psychopaths. There is no doubt about it that if you look at this face, this is not the face of someone who is very happy. This is the face of someone who's extremely upset that they had to trans themselves in order to be able to keep their job at Kotaku. That's just, I can't help but laugh, because who uses heteronormative, cisnormative, white supremacist, patriarchal status quo? That's a tongue twister. I can't even say that very easily. Petit's rant came in the wake of Grums responding to an anonymous game developer admitting that he hates gamers. The developer, who claims to work on a racing game, shared a post in the game dev subreddit titled, "Am I allowed to say this? I kinda hate gamers." In the body, which, by the way, we went over that post. And, it was one of those typical things where obviously you can't prove because the person was anonymous, but I can't help but believe it, because considering what they've been saying about gamers from the mainstream, from some people who aren't anonymous, I feel like the anonymity will definitely allow people to speak up like that more so. It says, in the body of the post, he explained, "I'm a professional game designer, and I'm worried that I'm starting to hate gamers. Watching the gaming events on YouTube last month with the chat on was extremely disheartening experience. Every time a character that wasn't a cis hetero white male appeared on screen, the chats would fill with messages calling the game woke or complaining about DEI. Every game that wasn't a shooter or hyper-casual competitive online game garnered Z's and boring comments." And like I said in my video when I cover this, I mean, this is at the fault of you. this is not at the fault of the gamer. And I love how they're trying to blame the gamer. Oh, the gamers are the ones who are coming up with these terms. No, 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 no. The gamer is just the one taking in the information that is being given to them by you. You are the ones that are shilling for DEI. You are the ones that are constantly telling everybody how many black people you hired and how happy you are about it. You are the ones that are making boring content and focusing on the color of the skin for the character versus the actual story of the character. It's you. You are the problem. And I understand you don't want to admit that. I fully get that. You know, there's a lot of people that are out there that are like that. But at the end of the day, you are the 100% problem. Gamers are only reacting and taking in the information that you are giving them. The fact that you even use the term cis hetero white man when complaining about gamers shows me that you are the exact person that is the problem for gamers in the first place. And then I checked Twitter, and it's just people complaining that Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake is not yellow enough. People telling me there are right ways and wrong ways to beat Elden Ring. And people hating on the new Dragon Age because the trailer doesn't match the tone that they had imagined for it. He continued, well, I mean, think about it, right? This stuff has been happening since the dawn of time, since the dawn of gaming. The only difference is that now the internet allows the voices to be heard, whereas a lot of this stuff was happening behind closed doors, you know, talking amongst your friends, complaining about things and whatnot, or back in the day, speaking on forums and whatnot. That's the only difference. I mean, now, if you're on Twitter, maybe you should get off Twitter. If Twitter's bothering you that much and you can't handle social discourse, perhaps you should get off a platform that is designed to showcase social discourse. It just doesn't make any sense. You're complaining about stuff that you are personally subjecting yourself to. You even admitted here, I don't know, it's just the internet magnifying negative voices. No, it's the internet magnifying all voices now, whereas before it was suppressed on Twitter and it was a leftist paradise. That's the reason why you think it's all negative now. Anyway, so Grums reacted to it and we covered that. Let's look at Carolyn Petit, aka Dude Petit. So Dude Petit responded to Grums, writing on X, I've said this many times before this, there is no way, shape, or form in which people like Grummy here are doing is not itself deeply, deeply political. It's all about maintaining and reinforcing the heteronormative, cis-normative, white supremacist, I can't even say it, patriarchal status quo. Now, again, keep in mind, this person, Dude Petit, is trying to say that an Asian man is trying to reinforce the heteronormative, cis-normative, white supremacist, patriarchal status quo. Yes, an Asian man is trying to do that. Like, again, just think about that for a second. X-user Growmouse responded to Dude Petit, writing, the issue is those political ideas are not presented as an alternative, but rather as a hostile takeover. Dude Petit addressed this writing, laugh my ass all right, we're the hostile ones, asking to exist freely and safely as equals in society, and sometimes see ourselves represented and reflected in the mediums we love. Patriarchy and white supremacy are themselves hostile and maintained through violence or the threat of violence. Now, let's make something very clear, okay? The fact that if you are just trying to exist in the world, I've said this so many times, it's such a terrible excuse when somebody like Dude Petit loves to say, we're just trying to exist and exist freely and safely. Okay, you live in America, my guy, right? You live in America. You can exist freely and safely without issue, right? The problem is that you cannot just exist, right, like everybody else, but then put on a performance that nobody else puts on, which is, hey, let me go out to everyone and tell them I'm trans and continue to tell them trans lives matter and tell them gays lives matter and tell them they're terrible people for not believing that, and then tell them that if they don't like it, don't play the video game, and tell them that they're not real gamers, and basically openly keep preaching to people, right? People who are just existing like you and me, we just exist. We're not out here telling people, oh, you need to believe this, otherwise you're XYZ, whatever, and if you don't like it, get out. No, that's not the case. Obviously, we disagree with these psychopaths, but I will never kick them out. Like I said earlier in the video, I want them to be here because they will prove to everybody exactly who they are every time they speak. I don't have to do it for them. And then on top of that, they try to say, oh, like white supremacists are hostile and it's maintained through violence and threat of violence. My guy, are you serious right now? You are a white dude out here being hostile and violent to everybody who doesn't agree with your ideology. You are essentially doing white supremacy with a different label. That is literally what you're doing by your definition. So I don't understand how you can be out here so calmly and pretend, well, actually, you're not calm, but to pretend as if everybody else is violent and hostile except for you. What about your little chihuahua? What about Alyssa Mercante? You think that's not hostility? Oh, I'm sorry. She's just reacting, right? She's reacting to the hatred that she's getting, the misogyny. Yeah, sure. You know, honestly, Dude Petit, Dude Petit is just one of those people, like I said. I fully believe in that conspiracy. Dude Petit decided to trans himself to save himself from being fired by DEI, just like everybody else is currently being fired due to DEI. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.